Genghis Khan, the man who conquered the world, reading and published by Mr. Books. In the annals of history, few figures loom as large as Genghis Khan, a man whose name has transcended time and echoed through the ages as a symbol of conquest, strategy, and unyielding ambition. Born as Temujin in the harsh steppes of Mongolia in the late 12th century, he transformed himself from an ostracized child of a fallen noble family into the supreme ruler of the world's largest contiguous empire by the age of 45. His legacy, however, transcends mere militaristic might. It encompasses extraordinary governance, innovative military strategies, and a nuanced approach to diplomacy. This book aims to delve deeply into the multifaceted life and times of Genghis Khan, exploring not only his formidable military conquests, but also the socio-political structures he established and their enduring impacts on subsequent civilizations. The narrative unfolds with an examination of his campaign to conquer China, a task that would define the outline of his empire and demonstrate his tactical genius. From there, the text will advance into the West, illustrating how Khan's relentless pursuit for power reshaped vast regions and forged new cultural landscapes. Moreover, the book will tackle Genghis Khan's legacy and its dichotomy, considering both the destruction wrought by his campaigns and the peace fostered through the Mongol Pax, a period of stability that allowed trade and culture to flourish across Asia and into Europe. The myths surrounding his life, often portrayed through romanticized lenses, are juxtaposed with historical realities that reveal a leader whose ruthlessness was matched only by his innovative governance and fairness. As we navigate through the chapters, we will uncover the threads of innovation and strategy that characterized his military efforts, examining the introduction of feigned retreats, mobility, and psychological warfare that made the Mongol hordes a formidable force. His diplomatic ventures also bear scrutiny, showcasing his keen insight into alliances and political maneuvering that enabled unprecedented expansion without constant warfare. In this journey, we aim not only to paint a portrait of a conqueror, but to understand the complexities that defined his rule and the world he created. Genghis Khan's life story serves as a reflection of human ambition and the enduring quest for power, a narrative that continues to resonate through history and influence our understanding of leadership and governance. Thus, as we embark on this exploration of Genghis Khan, we invite readers to engage with the intriguing interplay of myth and reality in the life of a man who truly conquered the world. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button to support the channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an audiobook that could change your life. Now, let's begin. Enjoy. Chapter 1. The Conquest of China. The conquest of China represents one of the most significant achievements in the ambitious military campaigns led by Genghis Khan. This chapter focuses on the intricate strategies and decisions that not only catalyzed the Mongol invasion, but also set a precedent for subsequent military endeavors across Asia. Genghis Khan's initial forays into China were marked by an astute understanding of the political landscape, which was rife with internal strife among the various warring states. His keen awareness of these dynamics allowed him to exploit divisions among the Chinese dynasties, particularly the Jin dynasty, which was embroiled in conflicts with its rival factions. The Mongol tactics capitalized on speed and precision. Genghis Khan deployed his forces in a manner that employed both frontal assaults and the element of surprise. The Mongol warriors were adept horsemen, and their mobility provided them with strategic advantages on the battlefield. They often engaged in feigned retreats, luring Chinese forces into ambushes, thereby turning the tide in many engagements. By the time the Mongols laid siege to the major Chinese cities, they had developed sophisticated siege tactics that integrated intelligence and psychological warfare. Utilizing their understanding of local customs, the Mongols often offered terms of surrender beforehand, attempting to provoke doubt and discontent among the defenders. Such psychological strategies destabilized morale and often resulted in cities capitulating without a fight. The fall of Beijing marked a critical point in the conquest. The Mongols, through their relentless and calculated invasion, demonstrated a willingness to adopt siege technologies from their enemies, including the construction of catapults and the use of gunpowder-based weaponry, which was foreign to them at the time. This adaptability illustrated Genghis Khan's effective command and the Mongol Empire's evolving military prowess. As the Mongols expanded their control over China, they did not merely aim for territorial conquest. They sought to integrate themselves into the socio-economic fabric of the region. The administrative systems established by Genghis Khan allowed for local rulers to maintain some level of authority, thus ensuring stability and loyalty among newly conquered peoples. This dual approach of military might, combined with political shrewdness, solidified the Mongol presence in China. The chapter will navigate through various battles that defined the Mongol conquest, emphasizing the decisive strategies implemented. The combination of swift mobility, innovative siege tactics, and diplomatic maneuvering laid the groundwork for one of history's most remarkable conquests, further shaping the course of the Mongol Empire. Chapter 2: The expansion into the West. The westward expansion of the Mongol Empire is characterized by its audacity and ambition, as Genghis Khan aimed to extend his rapidly growing dominion beyond the borders of China into the heart of Europe and the Islamic world. This chapter will detail the factors that fueled this expansion, exploring the complex interplay of military brilliance, socio-political factors, and the resultant transformative impacts. As the Mongol Empire solidified its foothold in China, Genghis Khan turned his gaze to the west, where the fragmentation of territories and interstate conflicts provided ripe opportunities for conquest. The lack of cohesive governance allowed the Mongols to exploit divisions among rival kingdoms, delivering swift and brutal expeditions that would mark their entry. One of the pivotal moments of this expansion was the invasion of the Khwarezmian Empire in 1219. Following a failed diplomatic mission resulting in the execution of Mongol envoys, Genghis Khan unleashed his fury upon the Khwarezmian territories. The Mongolian army, characterized by its speed and tactical retreat strategies, advanced rapidly across Central Asia, launching coordinated attacks that caught the Khwarezmian forces off guard. This campaign is particularly notable for its intense focus on intelligence gathering, where scouts were deployed to ascertain enemy positions and morale, driving home how vital information was in Mongol military operations. Moreover, the capture of major cities such as Samarkand and Bukhara illustrated the Mongols' adaptability to urban siege warfare. Craftsmen and artisans from conquered lands were often spared and integrated into Mongol society, enhancing the empire's capabilities in warfare and trade. The Mongols' utilization of siege engines and their adoption of technology developed in siege cities reflected an understanding that power lies in both sword and the knowledge of men. Genghis Khan's campaigns into Persia and beyond into the territories of Eastern Europe also revealed the importance of forming alliances with local tribes disillusioned by existing powers. Utilizing marriage alliances and promises of protection, the Mongols were able to secure truces that expanded their reach without the need for constant military engagement. Through alliances, the Mongols further extended their influence and enabled rapid military movements deep into Europe. The invasion of Russia and the subsequent incursions into Poland and Hungary marked a significant phase of Mongolian endeavors. Forces commanded under Genghis Khan's descendants continued the pace of conquest, further solidifying the Mongol presence in the region. This chapter will chronicle the setbacks and triumphs of the Mongol expeditions into the West, echoing the themes of adaptability and strategic brilliance that defined Genghis Khan's military philosophy. The resulting cultural exchanges, disruptions, and shifts in power dynamics in Europe resonate even to this day, demonstrating the profound effects of Genghis Khan's ambitions. Chapter 3: Legacy and Impact on the World. Genghis Khan's legacy is one of paradoxes, a legacy that encompasses both devastation and progress. His life and conquests have left an indelible mark on world history, influencing societal structures, trade networks, and cultural exchanges across continents. This chapter endeavors to explore the multifaceted dimensions of his legacy, assessing both the immediate and long-term impacts of his rule. At the core of Genghis Khan's legacy is the establishment of a vast empire that, at its height, connected a multitude of cultures and civilizations across Asia and Europe. This unprecedented expanse facilitated trade along the Silk Road, creating an economic network that allowed for the exchange of not only goods, but also ideas, technologies, and philosophies. The Mongol Pax, a term used to describe the relative peace maintained across much of the empire, enabled merchant activities to flourish and improved communication between disparate regions. However, the methods by which Genghis Khan achieved this peace were often brutal and ruthless. Cities that resisted the Mongols faced annihilation, and their populations were decimated. Such practices sowed seeds of fear and ensured compliance, leading many historians to view his conquests through a lens of bloodshed and fear. The duality of his legacy, where progress came at a significant human cost, tests the limits of how we evaluate historical figures. Another notable aspect of Genghis Khan's legacy lies in his innovative approaches to governance. He instituted laws known as the Yasa, which emphasized meritocracy and the importance of loyalty, often transcending traditional aristocratic structures. His policies cultivated an effective administrative network that benefited from the skills of both Mongols and subjected peoples alike. This inclusivity fostered a degree of collaboration that had not been witnessed on such a scale before. Moreover, Genghis Khan's legacy also permeates the realms of culture and religion. The empire was noted for its relatively tolerant stance towards the various beliefs and practices of its subjects, allowing for the coexistence of diverse religious and cultural traditions. This pluralism paved the way for cultural synthesis and exchange, enriching societies across the Mongolian heartland and beyond. Finally, Genghis Khan's legacy continues to resonate in contemporary history. His impact on the formation of modern nations, the geopolitical landscape, and the ongoing discourse about warfare, governance, and human rights invites continual examination. Nearly 8 centuries after his death, he is as often evoked in popular culture and modern politics as he is debated in academic circles, showcasing the lasting relevance of his accomplishments and atrocities. This chapter will assess how Genghis Khan's multifaceted legacy shapes our understanding of global history, examining both the devastating consequences of his conquests and the enduring advancements resulting from his rule. Chapter 4: The Myths and Realities of Genghis Khan. The life of Genghis Khan is steeped in mythology, his deeds embellished and misconstrued through centuries of storytelling and historical interpretation. This chapter seeks to dissect the myths surrounding the great Khan while juxtaposing them against the stark realities of his life and influence. One of the most pervasive myths about Genghis Khan is the notion that he was an unrestrained marauder, driven solely by bloodlust and the desire for conquest. While it is true that his military campaigns were often marked by brutality, modern historical assessments reveal a more complex character. His strategic mind and keen understanding of statecraft were as fundamental to his successes as his ferocity in battle. Indeed, Genghis Khan's conquests were often calculated efforts to expand his territory for both agricultural and economic stability in a harsh environment. Another common myth is centered on the perception of his people, the Mongols, as mere barbarians. This oversimplification neglects the sophisticated culture that thrived under their rule, one that included advanced trade networks and intricate social structures. The Mongols were not merely warriors, they were also traders, diplomats, and intellectuals who fostered innovations in governance and military tactics. By integrating various cultural elements from the regions they conquered, they became architects of a diverse and interconnected empire. The story of Genghis Khan's unity of the Mongolian tribes is often romanticized as a spontaneous and seamless process of unification, overlooking the fierce rivalries and conflicts that characterized the period. His rise to power involved considerable political maneuvering, warfare, and sometimes treachery, even among his kin. It was through a combination of diplomacy, force, and ritual that he was able to unify the tribes under his leadership. Moreover, representations of Genghis Khan's legacy have been pivotal in shaping nationalist narratives within modern Mongolia and beyond. Some portray him as a symbol of Mongolian identity and pride, while others view him through the lens of colonialism, highlighting the devastation suffered by various cultures as a result of his campaigns. This duality in perception reflects ongoing struggles over historical interpretation and cultural memory. In addressing these myths, the chapter will rely on primary historical accounts, archaeological findings, and contemporary scholarship. By sifting through these narratives, we aim to draw a clearer picture of Genghis Khan, examining how his real-life experiences, both the celebrated and the condemned, contribute to our modern understanding of leadership, conquest, and the complexities of historical memory. Chapter 5. The Early Life of Temujin. Temujin's early life is a remarkable journey of resilience and ambition, setting the stage for his transformation into Genghis Khan, one of history's most formidable leaders. Understanding the depths of his formative years provides insight into the character, leadership qualities, and motivations that would later define his reign. Born around 1162 into the Borjigin clan, Temujin faced significant adversity from the start. His father, Yesugi, was a tribal chief who was poisoned by rival clans when Temujin was a mere child, leaving his family vulnerable and displaced. Following his father's death, Temujin's family, bereft of protection, struggled to survive in an unforgiving Mongolian steppe. For young Temujin, this experience was a crucible shaping his perspective on power, vulnerability, and loyalty. The early years of Temujin's life were marked by hardship. After being abandoned by their tribe, he and his family lived in isolation, relying on the scarce resources available to them. This experience imbued him with a keen understanding of the harsh realities of tribal life and a determination to reclaim his clan's status. Despite their diminished circumstances, it was during this time that Temujin began to forge significant relationships and alliances that would prove crucial in the future. A formative event occurred when Temujin was around 10 years old. He was sent to live with the clan of his future wife, Brt, where he learned critical skills in alliance building, diplomacy, and negotiation. This clan served as an important ally in his later campaigns. Temujin's understanding of the importance of familial and political bonds deepened through these interactions, instilling in him the value of loyalty and collaboration amidst the volatile environment of tribal warfare. As Temujin grew into adolescence, he began to take on leadership roles within his small following, demonstrating an emerging ability to inspire loyalty among his peers. His charisma stood out, and even at a young age, he was determined to unify the Mongolian tribes, recognizing the potential strength that collaboration could provide against common enemies. His initiation into warfare came during various skirmishes against rival clans, where he demonstrated tactical prowess and a remarkable capacity for planning and executing military strategies. The tensions between various tribes culminated in many conflicts, and during these formative years, Temujin faced betrayal and hardship that further forged his iron will. His encounters with adversity taught him critical lessons in trust, betrayal, and the significance of strategic alliances. He cultivated relationships with neighboring clans to consolidate power and resources, often relying on marriage alliances as a tool for political enrichment. As he matured, the emergence of Temujin as a leader was marked by his relentless ambition, adaptability, and strategic foresight. His early experiences in the unforgiving landscape of the Mongolian steppes laid a foundation that would enable him to transform into a visionary leader. This chapter chronicles the events leading to Temujin's awakening as Genghis Khan, highlighting the progression from a boy facing abandonment to the mastermind who would unify the Mongolian tribes and alter the course of history. Chapter 6: The Rise of the Mongol Empire. The rise of the Mongol Empire under Genghis Khan marks one of the most remarkable transformations in world history, showcasing a series of strategic decisions and military innovations that enabled the Mongols to conquer vast territories. This chapter explores the complex factors contributing to this meteoric rise, examining Genghis Khan's relentless ambition, unique military strategies, and his aptitude for leadership. Following the unification of the Mongolian tribes in 1206, Genghis Khan's focus shifted towards external conquests as a means to solidify his power and provide resources for his growing empire. With a coalition of previously feuding tribes unified under his leadership, he transformed these disparate groups into a single formidable fighting force, enabling unprecedented military coordination and effectiveness. His ability to integrate the various tribal customs and warfare techniques of his newfound followers played a significant role in their success. Key to Genghis Khan's strategy was mobility. The Mongol warriors, primarily composed of skilled horsemen, excelled in swift and fluid movements on the battlefield. Genghis Khan emphasized the importance of speed and maneuverability, enabling his army to cover vast distances in short amounts of time, often striking unexpectedly. This agility allowed them to engage in multiple fronts simultaneously, overwhelming opponents and altering the course of traditional warfare. One of the principal military innovations attributed to Genghis Khan was the use of psychological warfare. Rather than solely relying on brute force, the Mongols craftily employed tactics designed to instill fear and confusion among their enemies, using decoys, feigned retreats, and rapid mobility to demoralize opposition forces. Tales of their ferocity, often amplified through word of mouth, contributed to staggering psychological effects that preceded many battles. Enemies were often terrified at the mere thought of facing the Mongol horde. As the Mongol Empire expanded, Genghis Khan's leadership style adapted to encompass effective governance. Recognizing the need for administrative efficiency in the territories he conquered, Khan implemented a meritocratic system that valued loyalty and skill over noble birthrights. This practice attracted talented individuals, regardless of their origin, to serve within his administration, creating a stable and capable government. He also formed alliances with various tribal leaders and even promoted diplomatic missions, paving the way for relationships that provided both economic and military benefits. Genghis Khan understood that alliances could help to secure borders, reduce the need for constant warfare, and maintain relative peace in newly acquired territories. The rise of the Mongol Empire heralded a period of cultural exchange and economic prosperity throughout the region. As the Mongols established control over the Silk Roads, they facilitated trade across Europe and Asia, creating an environment conducive to the exchange of ideas, technologies, and cultural practices. Merchants from diverse backgrounds thrived under Mongol rule, leading to a blended culture that reflected the empire's vast reach. This chapter will chronicle the pivotal events that led to the establishment of the Mongol Empire, focusing on military campaigns, governance strategies, and the socio-cultural repercussions of their rise. The ensuing period of the Mongol Empire served as a significant turning point in both regional and global history, leaving an indelible legacy that would influence the course of civilizations for centuries to come. Chapter 7. Military Innovations and Strategies. The military innovations and strategies employed by Genghis Khan were instrumental in establishing the Mongol Empire as a dominant force in history. This chapter provides an in-depth examination of the unique methods and tactics that defined the Mongolian military and contributed to its unparalleled successes across diverse terrains and against formidable foes. For Genghis Khan, military strategy was not merely about brute force. It was intricately tied to innovation and adaptation. One notable innovation was the emphasis on organization and discipline within the Mongol army. The adoption of a decimal system for organizing troops facilitated effective command and control during campaigns. Troops were arranged in units of 10, arvan, 100, zag, 1,000, miangan, and 10,000, tumen, allowing for efficient communication and maneuvering on the battlefield. Furthermore, Genghis Khan's forces excelled in their use of cavalry, relying primarily on horse-mounted soldiers who were both skilled fighters and capable of rapid movement. The Mongolian horsemen were trained from a young age, developing exceptional riding skills that rendered them the most mobile and agile army of their time. They employed multiple horses during campaigns to ensure that soldiers could maintain peak performance without exhausting their mounts. A significant element of Genghis Khan's military success was his ability to integrate diverse tactics from the peoples he encountered. The Mongols adopted valuable techniques from captured enemies, incorporating siege technologies and strategies that had been employed in cities across Central Asia and the Islamic world. This adaptation exemplified Genghis Khan's pragmatic approach to warfare, eschewing pride to gain knowledge that augmented their capabilities. One of the hallmark tactics of the Mongol military was the feigned retreat. This daring maneuver involved a portion of the cavalry pretending to flee in a panic, luring enemy forces into a vulnerable position. Once the enemy advanced, the Mongol soldiers would regroup and counterattack with devastating effect. This tactic not only showcased their superior mobility, but also capitalized on the psychological vulnerabilities of opposing armies. Genghis Khan also championed the use of intelligence and reconnaissance. His scouts were vital for gathering information about enemy movements, terrain, and supply routes, enabling the Mongols to make informed tactical decisions. Understanding the strengths and weaknesses of their opponents allowed the Mongolian forces to effectively exploit vulnerabilities and devise advantageous strategies. In addition to battlefield innovations, Genghis Khan introduced a system of rewards and incentives for his soldiers, fostering a culture of loyalty and camaraderie. Soldiers were rewarded based on their performance in battle, ensuring that all troops had a vested interest in the success of the campaign. This meritocratic approach not only motivated individual performance, but also enhanced cohesion within the units. This chapter will closely analyze key military campaigns where these innovations were put to the test, highlighting battles that define the Mongol approach to warfare. The combination of organization, adaptation, and tactical ingenuity contributed significantly to the military prowess of Genghis Khan, shaping the dynamics of power across Eurasia and laying the groundwork for the Mongol Empire's expansive reach. Chapter 8. Genghis Khan's Diplomatic Ventures. Genghis Khan's prowess extended beyond military conquest. His diplomatic ventures played a critical role in establishing and maintaining the vast Mongol Empire. This chapter examines the multifaceted nature of his diplomatic strategies, showcasing how they complemented his military campaigns and contributed to the empire's longevity. At the heart of Genghis Khan's diplomatic engagements was his recognition of the importance of relationships with neighboring states and tribes. He understood that fostering peaceful relations could often yield greater advantages than outright warfare. This strategic mindset allowed the Mongol Empire to expand its influence while minimizing unnecessary bloodshed. One of the first significant diplomatic initiatives was Genghis Khan's approach to the Khwarezmian Empire. After establishing a preliminary alliance with the Khwarezmian Shah, Muhammad II, the Mongols sought to improve trade relations. However, when diplomatic communication failed and a delegation of Mongol envoys was murdered, Genghis Khan quickly shifted from diplomacy to warfare, illustrating his adaptable response to the complexities of international relations. In addition to martial diplomacy, Genghis Khan was adept at employing marriage alliances to secure bonds with powerful families and leaders. By marrying his daughters to various princes and tribal chiefs, he forged alliances that provided crucial support and loyalty among newly acquired territories. These strategic marriages were vital in consolidating power and facilitating communication across vast distances. Furthermore, Genghis Khan often granted religious tolerance to the peoples within his empire, allowing diverse faiths to thrive under Mongol rule. This policy not only engendered goodwill among conquered subjects, but also encouraged the exchange of ideas. If you found this video helpful, inspiring, or entertaining, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on future content. Your support means the world. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.